Good morning, students. Welcome to Good Samaritan School Isapur online classes. This is your science class, and today we will study chapter 10 Motion and Measurement of Distance. So, let's begin. Correct measurement of length. Precautions to be taken while using a scale. So, when you use a scale like shown in this picture, you have to use certain precautions so that you can get the accurate length of the thing that you are measuring. So, let's have a look at those points. Place the scale in contact with the object along its length. So, for example, if you are measuring this nail, you have to place the nail along the length of the nail. So right next to the edge of the scale you have to place it. In case the ends of scale are broken, then we should avoid taking measurement from the zero mark of the scale. So if this end, the beginning of the scale is itself broken, so we have to avoid this and then start from the 1 centimeter mark. Correct position of eye is also important. That is, the position of the eye should be exactly in front of the point of measurement. So as you can see here in this picture, the girl is measuring, seeing from the this side. So what will she see? She will see some points extra. She will see the object as to be longer than it actually is. Whereas the boy will notice that the nail is shorter than it actually is. So to have an accurate idea, to measure it accurately, you have to look at it right on top of it from here. Only then you will not get extra millimeters, or deduction of millimeters will not take place. So you have to look at it exactly in front of the measuring point. Measuring length of a given line using a scale. Place the scale along the edge of the line with the zero mark aligned with the edge of the line. So this point we have seen just now. The reading on the scale at the other end of the object gives the measure of the length of the line. Measure the length of each object in centimeters, because this particular line grading here is in centimeters. So, for example, if you have to measure this eraser, you will keep it right at this point, which is 0, and then the other end will mark the length of this eraser, which is exactly 5 centimeter. And this is the point where you have to look at the measuring object right on top of the measuring point. This is the wrong position. From here you will measure this rod as being 4.2 centimeters. From here you will measure it as 4.4, but this is the correct position. From where right on top you get the measurement as 4.3 centimeters. Measuring a straight line using a damaged scale. So what are the steps? Place the ruler such that any clearly visible mark coincides with one end of the scale. For example, if this scale was broken from here, what would you do? We would measure the eraser either from this point, or if this is also broken, then we would measure from here. So if we measured it from point 1, this would end on the other side at point 6, and if we measured it at 2, this would end at 7. So then what we have to do? Note the reading on the ruler at the other end of the line. The difference of readings observed against both the ends gives the length of the line. So if we started at point 1 centimeter, then it would end at 6. So 6 minus 1 is 5, which is the length of this eraser. So this way you have to subtract. then you will get the accurate result. Now, measuring the length of a curved line. If the line is curved, then how will you measure it? Steps. First, name the curved line as AB. So the first point from where the curved line is starting will be marked as A, and the second point where it is ending will be marked as B. Take a thread and put a knot on one end of the thread. So you put a knot at one end. Move the thread along a curved line till the point B and make a mark on the thread. So you will measure it like this by coinciding the thread with the curved line, and where it ends there you will mark on the thread. So from the knot till the point you get the whole length of the curved line. Place the knot on point A of the curved line. Measure the length of thread with a scale. So this way you can spread out the thread in a straight line, and then you can measure the thread. So you get the length of the curved line. Now we will see motion and its types. What is motion? A body is said to be in motion if it is changing its position with time. So, if the motion of the object is changing with time, if the position of the object is changing with time, then the body is said to be in motion. Rest. A body is said to be at rest when it remains at the same position with time. So, with time, the position of the body remains at the same point, so then it is considered to be at rest. Whereas a body is said to be in motion if it is changing its position with time. If the position of the body is changing with time, then this body is considered to be in motion. So there are certain types of motion. The first type is rectilinear motion, circular motion is the second one, third is periodic motion, and fourth is rotational motion. Now we will see each one of them one by one. Rectilinear motion. A motion in a straight line is called rectilinear motion. When an object moves along a straight line, it is said to be in rectilinear motion. So, the examples are march past of soldiers in parade. So here you can see the soldiers are marching in a straight line. So this is a rectilinear motion. The second one is motion of vehicles on a straight road. So as you can see here, the road is straight, the path is straight. So any object moving on a straight path, the motion of that object is said to be of rectilinear motion, means it is moving in a straight line. The second motion is circular motion. When an object moves along a circular path, it is called circular motion. The motion in which an object moves at a distance from a fixed point. So, here you can see in the example the object, for example the blades of the fan, moving fan. It is moving from a fixed point, that is the central point, to a fixed point which is the end of the blade. So this particular movement will be considered as circular motion. So the example is blades of a moving fan. The second example is hands of a clock. So these also move from a central point and then to a fixed point. It is not going to be longer or shorter, the distance to which it is moving. Therefore, it is considered to be a circular motion. The next one is periodic motion. The motion which repeats itself after regular interval of time is called periodic motion. Example: A. Motion of pendulum. B. Child on a swing. So here you can see this particular pendulum here, when it is maybe at 1 o'clock, then this pendulum will go like this in a repeated way, periodic way, and then it will be in a periodic motion. For example, if it is at 3 o'clock, this will go for 3 times. So it is making a periodic motion. The second one is the child on a swing. This child is going to and fro in the swing. So this kind of motion is also periodic motion. The fourth one is rotational motion. When an object turns or spins about a fixed axis, it is called rotational motion. Examples: a spinning top. So this spinning top has its own axis and it will rotate on this. So this is a rotational motion. The next one is rotation of earth. The earth rotates on its own axis. The motion of the earth about its axis is known as rotation. So the motion is known as rotational motion. Now there are certain objects which have more than one motion. So objects having more than one type of motion. So we have two examples here. First one is the case of a bicycle. A bicycle moving on a straight road has two types of motion. So because it is moving in a straight road, it has rectilinear motion, and because its tires are moving round and round again and again, so it comes under a rotational motion. The second one is the case of periodic, the case of earth. So in the case of earth, the earth moves around the sun, so it has circular motion, the first type. The second is the earth repeats its motion around the sun after regular intervals of time, that is of 1 year, so it has a periodic motion. The third type of motion is earth also rotates on its axis, so it has rotational motion. So the movement of earth will show three types of motion. The first is circular motion, the second one is periodic motion, and the third is rotational motion. So certain objects have more than one type of motion. So children, I hope you understood this. For homework, you have to make some lines using your scale and then measure them and write down the accurate length of the lines drawn in your notebook. So you have to do this. Then the next one is find out 5 more examples of objects which have more than one motion. So you have to write 5 such examples like we just saw in case of a bicycle and in case of an earth. So you have to write 5 such examples in your notebook. Third is learn and write the definition motion and its types with example. So you have to do all these in your notebook. I hope you understood this. We will meet again in the next class.